What's up, guys? We're back. What's up? What's up, stream? Woo. It feels good to be back, man. Make sure my headset is on correctly. Woo! Just in time. I feel like I'm always making it just in the nick of time. But sometimes that's all we need. What's up? What's up, Twitch? What's up, Isaac? How you doing? What's going on? What's up? What's up? This time I had to pull out the collared shirt. It's actually kind of cold today here in Miami. I trimmed down the mustache, but we're back with another vesting and it should be fun. Appreciate everybody for pulling up on your boy. Also live on X and YouTube. So, a couple different places for your watching pleasure. Winter Storm is crazy. Where are you based out of again? I can't remember. Where are you based out of? Oh, yeah. Maryland. I forgot. As soon as you said Maryland, I remember. You're building the... Is it the company for HVAC or electricians? Is crypto going to make a comeback? You know, it's funny. As we jump into it, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for joining me on today's stream. Starting probably next week, we will get back to streaming. We're going to start the stream a little bit earlier. We have this section on the left, on your left, my left, everyone's left. On the left, we have this thing called the term sheet. And we're going to be starting the stream a little bit earlier in the future. And the term sheet will become almost like a pre-interview segment that we'll work on. And we're going to do a variety of different things. Also, shout out to Camille for this, because Camille was, when I tell you Camille, good morning, Niam. When I tell you Camille is just insane when it comes to just kind of knowing the right thing to like implement. He was like, yo, we should like have a pre-show for the actual show. Like almost like a appetizer before dinner. And I was like, well, we do. The show technically is called the term sheet, but the term sheet could become its own segment. And it could be a lot. It could be a couple different things. I could start the show early and the term sheet becomes like people pop up on the stream like this and pitch me their startup. Oh, we got Ethan in the background. He's quick. Ethan, I gotta get you up here. You gotta give me 2 seconds. You might be the first guest that joined right at the clock. So it's dope to get you on. I'm gonna pull you up in like 2 seconds.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Awesome.
We'll be right back. So we're starting we're going to start like almost a precursor. You know, you go to a concert and you're like, oh man, for me, I'm like, damn, I can't wait to go see K Tronada. And before K Tronada, there's like, you know, an opening act. We're going to add an opening act. So that way the stream is a bit more warmed up. And during that opening act, we'll be bringing on more founders to chat with. So it'll be fun. But he's already here and warmed up, and I don't want to take too much of his time, but I got to give him an intro because I would say he's building one of the more complex but necessary companies over probably the last couple of YC batches, because we've seen so much information come out about vibe coding, and you can vibe code your favorite website, your favorite application. And the thing, when I met Ethan at demo day, I was like, oh, this is like a sick idea when I first reviewed it. And then we met at demo day. But the idea that you can now almost in a sense vibe code firmware. Ethan is building a really sick company called Embedder that allows you to do that, allows you to vibe code firmware, which I hadn't seen before. And I'm curious to know, I'm curious to like find out from him if others are, I'm sure he has to have a competitor somewhere, but I'm curious to find out like so many things about what's difficult about doing what he's doing and how he's able to like what does the market look like for this? Because I don't really know much about firmware agents and this sort of a thing. So I don't know too much. That's why I'm bringing him on to talk about it, chat about it, dive deep into his background. You guys know how we do it on the show. So without further ado, let's bring the man, the myth, and the legend up here. Ethan, what's going on, brother? Where you calling in from?
I'm calling in from our co-working space in San Francisco. I'm down in the Mission right now.
Awesome. I appreciate you deciding to come out and honor me by joining me on the stream. I know we didn't chat much before demo day, but you were building something incredibly dope. So I'm excited to have you on the show to talk about it. And I think since we started the show, because previously I was just chatting with founders. Now it's more of an actual theme inspired by ESPN's PTI. It like we have all the topics to the left of what we'll be talking about and going into detail on various different things. But I want to start it off by just asking you, like, what is it like post YC batch? You've been out of YC for a minute. Like, you're flying on your own. You've left the nest, and now you are just fully in the founder's driver's seat. Like, how's it been?
Yeah, that's actually like I think the number one analogy I give people is like YC kind of feels like you're in tutorial mode, and everybody tells you have like this handbook that tells you exactly what you're supposed to do every step of the way. The partners kind of guide you, and they give you this week you launch, this week you raise money, this week you do this week you present in front of investors. And then as soon as you finish demo day, you're kind of just like kicked out and you're in an open world and nobody knows what you're doing. Nobody's ever solved your problem before. Nobody's ever held your job before. There's been people that have like worked in adjacent spaces, and of course they're CEOs of other companies, but nobody's been the CEO or CTO of Embedder.
Yeah.
And nobody can really help me. So I'm all on my own. I got to figure it all out. There's a lot of trial and error, but it's probably the most fun job in the world, getting to do whatever I want and try and build the coolest piece of technology that I probably could have conceived over the course of my time.
I think we lost you for a second, but what I will say is like, I mean, you have truly decided to live your life on very difficult mode. Like you said, okay, if I could just turn the difficulty slider all the way up in a video game, like that's what I'm going to do. And I'm intrigued, but before we jump into Embedder, because I'm sure you're going to like enlighten us and there's going to be a ton of things that I learned from this conversation, I want to just start with you, man. Like, give me who is Ethan Gibbs, the background for everybody who doesn't know much about you, like being a founder, being a CEO, falling in love with firmware, kind of where did all of this originate from?
Yeah, well, I grew up, I guess at a very, very young age. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, I guess at a very, very young age, I was like really obsessed with like Steve Jobs, Apple Computer. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. One of the first books that I ever read was like his biography, and
such a good book.
I always thought that I was going to start like a hardware company or some sort. When I was really young, I had like a scrapbook where I think the first company I ever came up with, I called it E-Tech, and we built, meaning me, built holographic iPhones. I used like honeycomb and projectors and mist, and I was like spraying mist all over the place, trying to like see if I could render screens in the air. And I tried to sell it to all of my peers and at school. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I raised my first venture capital for my parents to build that. It was probably like $1,000. So I always knew that I wanted to build something. But my story is a little bit complex. When I was like 10 or 11 or sometime right before middle school, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called Crohn's disease. And Crohn's disease really kind of ruined my life. I couldn't go to any of the clubs. I couldn't do robotics. I couldn't hang out with my friends. I kind of lost all motivation to work on all these projects that I was really passionate about. But it kind of steered me in a different direction, and I became very obsessed with chemical biology. Because of the medication I was taking. So in classic scientist, engineer, entrepreneurial fashion, in middle and high school, I built a lab in my basement and I conducted experiments on my own body. I like swabbed
Oh my
bacteria out of my
God.
mouth, and I grew bacteria in a chicken egg incubator. And I ended up publishing 3 peer-reviewed research papers to a Harvard undergraduate journal on antibiotic resistance. Um, and that's how I ended up at UMich, because I reached out to a bunch of professors there, and I got kind of preempted into a lab over the summer to work on antibiotic resistance. And I got to Michigan. I was going to graduate early, like very early, with a lot of credits, and I was going to go get a PhD in chemical biology. And I was doing this work on like a lot of data crunching, a lot of numbers, just analyzing these experiments. And you have like millions of permutations of like DNA sequences. And I think it was like GPT 3.5
Yeah.
dropped, and it just blew my mind. And I had this background in computers. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a programmer. And I just saw this tech come out, and I was like, this is it. Like, I heard about AI, I knew this was it, and I just kind of like immediately dropped out of the lab. I dropped my plans to be a PhD researcher, and I just started like grinding AI and comp sci. And that's kind of just how I got back into it. As
Yeah.
for like, that's my story basically. So I grew up. I wanted to be kind of a hardware engineer. I wanted to build a company building robots, but I never got to it. And I think this is kind of just like full circle now that I get to come back to it. I wasted all that time studying things that didn't help me learn how to program robots, and now I get to make AI that writes the code for me. So that's pretty cool.
You know what's interesting about your story, and I pray that your health, like I don't know much about Crohn's, but I pray that like, I mean, you look great. Like I don't know if there's like I hope you're doing great, but you do look great. Like you look like you're vibrant, like you're thriving, which is like a good thing, and I love to hear that. But you said it didn't help you. I can't help but to believe it did, because you decided to just like focus on like something that's like so obsessive of like, wow, like I can't do the things that my friends are doing. So like I'm going to just create a lab and run experiments and learn about like creating immunities and resistances and all these things. And it's like you were experiencing max pain that goes well beyond, the life that most
Yeah, that's a
founders
good way to
probably will
put it.
ever experience.
Yeah, and I also think it's like a very like strange like I've met a lot of founders. Like I've met founders who had like childhood leukemia, who also have Crohn's disease, and I think like there's something about having a really like painful condition that drives you to just get stuff done. Like a
Mm,
bias for action that comes from like if you're really sick, you might feel like in the moment there might be like next year. So whatever I wanted to do through the whole span of my life, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm doing it today. And a lot of people don't feel that sense of like urgency with anything at all. Like, oh, I can't post this. It's not perfect. I'm like, if I don't write this
yeah.
paper, if I don't launch this company, I might not be healthy enough to do it later. And I think that gives me a really great advantage over like anybody else who wants to compete with me on what I'm building. Regardless of like what technology they develop or how much experience they have in the field, like I'm just an absolute dog. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go at it harder than they do every single day, and that's just like I think that just makes me happy. It keeps me going. It keeps me vibrant.
I mean, I love that. It's like from the perspective of there are so many people who procrastinate on the idea of starting something, getting something done, executing. And you're like, it's not even about the whole, oh my God, can I make millions of dollars today or tomorrow? It's like, I'm compelled to do this. And if I don't do it now, I don't know what tomorrow could look like in general.
Yeah.
So you have this idea because like, yeah, you went completely in a different direction. You were on like this bio track and like, I mean, you're basically becoming like the Tony Stark for like medicine and autoimmune. And then you're like, all right, well, I really like this robot thing. And I think there's something here. And I realized that Sam Altman has now made it available for us to like have what many believe are the infancy days of the future AGI that is upon us. Maybe, maybe not. So you decide, okay, like where'd this whole kind of embedder idea come from, and like really honing in on firmware? Like, give me that.
Great question. So I'll backtrack like a little bit and say like, why build anything at all right now? And I think it is like, yeah, Sam Altman giving every college kid a PhD level brain extension to do whatever they want instantly. And now it keeps like when I was working on it first, like it wasn't as impressive as it was now. So if I started the company today, it would be even faster of a ramp up. But basically, the way that Embedder came about is I'd been bouncing around a couple of startup ideas with like friends at my college, and none of them really stuck. Nobody really wanted to work with me on anything. Um, just one random day, I was in like the library with one of my good friends, Bob, who's
Yeah.
now my co-founder, and he was prepping for something called Product Studio, which was I think like a club for entrepreneurship at V1 at Michigan. And I was just, I had finished all my coursework. It was like the last month I had at college, and I'm like, Bob, what are you doing? I look over his laptop, and he's like, oh, like just some project for this club that I'm in. Well, I'm like, tell me about it. And he's like, well, I'm working at Tesla this summer. I'm already starting kind of doing work here, and there's these problems in embedded systems. You got to read a data sheet and you got to write a driver. You got to read these super dense technical documents with like tables, graphs, timing diagrams, block diagrams, stuff like that. It just really sucks. And 90% of the workflow of writing firmware, at least for what he was doing, was just like this component bring up, just like reading and then writing like a couple lines of code to actually make it work. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm lazy. So I'm building basically what he built was like an AI powered compiler that took like any technical document and it converted it into a like custom domain specific language. So he basically create like a JSON schema that describes like any hardware document. And we used AI as like an oracle to convert it into JSON. And then because you have a structured schema that doesn't change, you can pass that as a function input. So basically he built like a system blocks into a structured input that you can put into a function. We basically created like a platform agnostic datasheet to driver compiler. And when he explained that to me, I was like, first of all, this guy might be a genius that he just spun this up in a day. And two, it was like, well, why is this possible now? Why was nobody doing this before? He's like, oh, Gemini 2.5 Pro, 1 million context window. Just dump the datasheet in there and it's good enough to map to like a super long structured output. So I was just like, this is really technically impressive. It's very interesting. I wanted to get back into it, and it turns out that it just became possible yesterday. So those are all really great signs that you might be onto something, is if something really cool just happened to come out like the day you see it. So I committed to that project. I was like, I want to work on it with you. Like, this is a fun thing to do the last month of college. And I took it really, really seriously.
Yeah.
It's kind of like not to discredit the club, but it's like most people there are not actually looking to spin out their idea in Product Studio into a real company. But I just went super hard on it, and we ran through the pitch like for hours, and did the competition. Ended up winning it there, of course, right? Because I wasn't going to lose. And we got approached by like an angel investor. Yeah, we got approached by an angel investor in the crowd, and he was like, "I think this is it. I don't think you understand how big this like idea is, and I think the time is now." And he gave me his number, and he's like, "If you decide you want to do it, let me know." So I texted him, and then like the morning after, at like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, I get on a call with him. He like rips through a bunch of stuff for like 45 minutes straight, and he's like, "Good luck," and he makes a bunch of intros for me, and then I just go from there. I just take that momentum and I cruise. Almost didn't make it, actually. We were kind of just like scrapping, seeing how many, and like we got rejected from a bunch of investors. Nobody wanted to talk to me. They thought it was stupid, and like we didn't have any traction at the time. It was just me and Bob with an idea.
Yeah.
But connected with a lot of great people. Applied to YC, applied to Z Fellows. Ended up getting into those. Surprisingly, I don't know what it actually takes to get in. They still won't tell me why we got in. But we did.
They never
and
told
as soon
you?
as we got in, I ask. I'm like, well, is it because of this or this? Or, is it like, I originally thought it was like, maybe because they have so many people to interview, maybe it's like whoever's the most memorable. Like, I think back, I read through 200 applications. I did 200 interviews today. Like, who do I remember? Because like, that's like a great heuristic for if somebody's going to be like successful, is if they're very memorable. Like, even if you don't know what their product does, you're aware of their company. And that influence really carries you pretty far. And they always told me, no. So I've never gotten it right. I have no idea. And honestly, it's probably beyond me to care at this point. I've been blessed with this opportunity, so I don't really look any further than that. But as soon as it happened, I was like, well, now we need to figure out like what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just like a win condition. I knew I was going to win as soon as we got in. I was like, this is it. This is the moment. I am not going to throw this away. And I'm super competitive as well. You put me in a room with 150 other companies, I am not going to be any less than the top 10%. So it's like a great forcing function for just achieving greatness in a short amount of time. And I think I don't know if we achieved greatness, but we definitely launched ourselves on the path, and I feel like we're getting there. We're moving at a pretty good pace. So that was a long yap. If
I
you
love
want to
it.
weave in any questions.
No, I love it. Like that's the type of stuff where like if you're going and like the train is just moving and it's cruising, I'm not stopping the train. Like I'll let the train go. And like everything you said was like it created more questions and thoughts in my head because I'm like wow, like I could go super deep on the whole competitive nature of like you get into YC, you see all these companies doing different things. You're going in a completely different field with trying to do, you know, cursor for firmware. Like, what the hell is it like to go out and sell what you're selling? How do those conversations even go?
Well, yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because the firmware is really hard. So the amount of people who like see the product and actually know like what it's supposed to do is very, very small. So part of the challenge is like, how do you even find those people? Like LinkedIn's a great place to start. We just launched a demo video today, and like we get impressions from those, but mostly those are from like people in network, other founders of other companies, couple like embedded systems guys. But how do you really go out and find those people is one, and then how do you convince them to actually use AI in their daily workflow, given that like embedded software lags 20 years behind regular software, and there's like all these like safety and compliance and like deterministic requirements of the code that makes it even more complex to sell. So it's kind of a thing of like, how do I find them?
Yeah, I think we lost you for a sec. All good.
Laptop.
Oh yeah, no worries. We can hear you. We can hear you again.
Yeah. Could you repeat the question?
No, I was asking you like you were basically saying like, you know, you posted a demo. Sometimes you'll run into some embedded systems guys on LinkedIn, but it's not a straightforward process because the embedded system space in general is like normally 20 years behind like traditional software because of regulations, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so like a lot of the, I think a good way to like that we're approaching it now, at least from like the B2B side. I try and do PLG. Like we advertise to like startups and individuals, and like I ran a couple like search ad campaigns that did pretty well on a pretty like conservative budget. But like one of the best ways is definitely like for B2B sales in this industry is conferences. We went to CES. We're presenting at Embedded World in Nuremberg, Germany in March, and like those are always great because people go to conferences to buy and sell. If you're talking to them, everybody is willing to hear a pitch because they're just looking to buy new stuff that's going to save them money or make their business more profitable. And then also like we found that there are like large enterprises have often co-innovation programs where they actually have like an independent, like a dedicated team of people who just search for startups to potentially do like business development with. And they just incubate pilots and do NDAs and just get you into the program. And if it goes well, then you end up buying their product. And this is especially prevalent in like large industries like silicon, like chip IP, automotive OEM. So like anyone like a Honda or Toyota or Hyundai are all going to have incubation programs. NVIDIA has one, stuff like that. So we've been kind of getting our business traction through that. So it's like usually really direct to the.
Oh, we lost you again.
Yeah, let me adjust the mic real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, take your time. I mean, this is like it's just an interesting field, right? Like I chatted with a guy yesterday, and they were doing software for satellites in space, and he was saying that the conference world is like the conference scene is where the magic happens a lot of the time for him as well, because it's like you know, the guys he's selling to, they're not just sitting on LinkedIn waiting to be found. It's more so like you kind of got to get in the field and like show your face, and then people trust you and you build that rapport, and that leads to like an opportunity. When you think of like an ideal ICP, like who do you guys target per se?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, good. So this is actually a very interesting question, and I feel like not a lot of people actually have to care about defining like who their ICP is as much as us, because of like the nature of the industry. So like I said earlier, embedded lags like 10 to 20 years behind software. but it's like a mix of like the workflows are outdated. Everybody's kind of entrenched in doing it in a particular way. Nobody wants to change. Nobody wants to adopt AI because they don't trust it and they're scared of losing their job. I would preface that Embedder is not going to take their job. It should just make them more productive and allow them to actually like meet their deadlines and remove the pain they have, like doing all this manual drudgery, and actually allow them to focus on innovating and building cool products. But we're not quite there yet culturally. Like the culture between software engineering and hardware engineers and electrical engineers is very different.
Yeah.
But as for like the ICP, it's typically like there's always it's a company like in like silicon, automotive, IoT, consumer electronic, medical technology. These are kind of like the verticals. And what we look for is like a guy or girl in like a director or above position, like a very technical, like director of product, director of technology, head of engineering, CTO, CEO, and they're very technical buyers. So when I go into the conversation, I'm not selling them KPIs, ROIs, like numbers and graphs. I'm selling them like, does this thing write like code that runs on my automotive ECU?
Yeah.
And is it going to pass this compliance check? And are all 100 engineers in my department going to say that the developer user experience is good? Like, what is the conversion going to be like on the pilot? And these people, not only do they have to, have the spending power and have like a very technical understanding of like what's going on at the company, but they also have to be a bit visionary. I could not integrate the product into a company with a guy who doesn't want AI from the top down to be integrated into the company. They have to see the potential of AI in firmware. And if they don't think that AI will ever be able to write firmware, then it's going to be an impossible sale. So I've seen like in some of the companies like we target, there are people in leadership positions who do like internal presentations at the company about making their company ready for the AI age, or writing AI native documentation for data sheets, or trying to integrate like Copilot or Codex or Claude already into their systems. And they just found that the solutions aren't really sufficient, and they're searching for something that actually solves their problem. And there was few of those when we started, and I would say there's more of them now. And I think like this year is going to be the year where somebody gets crowned king in this space. There's really high buying intent. And I think that that's kind of like what we're looking at right now, is like who has the highest buying intent and how have they demonstrated that in kind of like the public forum.
I think this is like a good time to like segue too, because I want to dive deeper into that later around like buyer intent and kind of where like when you look at the graph and landscape of your competitors, right? Like we could dive into that. I have a section where I want to go deeper on that. But when you look back at like the YC experience, like you went through it, it was rapid fire moment, right? Like you're grinding as hard as you ever have. And now that you're post YC and like, I mean, true autonomy, you don't have anyone checking for you. Like you're truly out in the wild and you're doing your own thing. You're deciding every day, like, okay, here's where we have to go. Like, what is that daily life like for a CEO that's trying to build the next great company at the intersection of like AI and firmware coding?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. I think just in general, like being a CEO of an early stage company, out on your own is a very good description of like how I feel like very often. And a lot of the time, and this is some great advice I've gotten from actually one of my first hires, Alex. He runs product at Embedder now. Is at any given time, what the CEO needs to do is identify the North Star for the company. And his job at that point in time is, if you fully believe that that is the North Star, that is the direction you should be heading, and you should only focus on one thing at a time. You have to fully tunnel on it. You have to rally the entire company around this one objective, and then make sure no matter what, it is always clear that this is the one and only thing that we care about doing. I think that's like a fantastic piece of advice. And a lot of people in like my position probably get very scatterbrained. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of, oh, what if I try this or do this or this? And it's like, I don't know if anything's working. You really just have to like pick something and absolutely drill into it until you see it all the way through. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been lining up stuff. I saw this great analogy on Twitter. It was like shotgun to sniper. When you're coming up with like a bunch of ideas, you shotgun a bunch of ideas, and then you pick one and you just like, you put everything behind it, and you absolutely take it out. And if it's a failure, you fail super hard. But if you win super hard. And that's kind of what it's been like for me. In YC, it was more like shotgun. Like you just try a little bit of everything. everything kind of goes well. People reach out because of the platform. And then after that, it's like, that was your audition. What are you actually doing?
Yeah.
And you have to be very convicted about what you're actually doing. And like, I think that's a good mental framework for me so that I don't get too overwhelmed. And then of course there's like a whole bunch of other stuff. There's just that you couldn't even imagine during YC. There's hiring, there's growth strategy, there's product development, there's managing priorities, there's doing sales to businesses, there's doing sales to customers. There's hiring and firing and interns and all this. It's just so much going on. I can't really keep track of all of it. But I'm having a good time, at least. You just have to like be able to like focus.
You're literally like the meme of the guy who's like, I mean, that dog that's in the house and the house is on fire, but the dog's like, yeah, I'm enjoying every moment of my brain being pulled in 100 directions. But the advice you gave that you got from the guy who runs product at your company, that's like crazy good advice. Like the whole idea, because even in kind of the conversations I've seen, and I'm deep in the trenches of YC startups. I see, even if I don't talk about everything, I see almost every co-founder breakup, every time a company pivots, every time a company does anything, even outside of the ones that like I invest in. But one thing I noticed is like some of the best founders, like, and I mean like bona fide best founders, it's weird. They're not talking about what they're doing. They're just like out doing things and like taking that approach to like what you're saying. It's like, they're not thinking about, oh man, how do I get like to 20K on Twitter? They're like, okay, like how do I just increase revenue regardless of like my follower size? Because like even the little things can be can scatterbrain a founder and a founding team as they start to worry about like random vanity metrics.
Yeah, we had like a moment in the company where we were focusing on a lot of different stuff. And I did talk to Alex about this. And we kind of like had like a 15-minute meeting and we're like, what is the next 3-month focus for the company? And we kind of realized there's not really anything else a business should be focusing on other than making money. So now whenever somebody's doing something, I'm like, great, this is really cool, but how is this going to make me money in the next 12 months? And if you can't connect the end goal, which is making me more money, to the thing that we're doing today in less than 3 steps, then it's not getting done. And I think that helps like kind of cut away a lot of like slop. It's really easy to make stuff and ship features and do things just because it's possible now. But if you can't focus on making stuff as fast as possible that gives you the greatest return, then you're probably going to just waste a bunch of time bloating your code base, building a bunch of garbage that nobody actually wants. For example, for our most recent update, we did like a full platform migration from this old framework we built to like new state-of-the-art terminal framework. You can even click buttons in the terminal. It's fantastic. It's like I've never seen anything like it. And all of my engineers, they hate doing UI. But every single email we got from a customer said, the generations are great. Everything's great. The agent loop's great. I love the system. I love the onboarding. But the UI looks like an outdated fork of OpenCode. So I'm not going to pay you for it. So I'm like, well, if I get 100 emails telling me that the only reason we're not making money is because it looks ugly, then for the next 2 weeks, we're going to make it look pretty. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow when all you want to do is write backend code. But that's what we did. And I think it is, we're making more money now. People are converting at a higher rate. And that kind of just reinforces this strategy in my mind. It's like, just follow what the people are asking for, and you'll see good results.
Yeah, bro, I love this conversation because I just feel like you're just dropping like straight knowledge. And granted, it's like some of this people you could say like, okay, like, I mean, what else would a company focus on? But when you're trying to figure out how to make money, there are so many things that you can end up spending time on that are actually like the antithesis of getting closer to making more money. Just because like you might see a viral post here, but it's like, okay, like how much does that viral post convert? Or you might see a crazy launch video, this, that, and the third. It's like, every business is different, but at the end of the day, the goal is common. It's like, okay, increase revenue, allows you to raise more money, allows you to grow, allows you to increase revenue even more, change the world, the whole 9 yards, the pie in the sky. But it all starts with one thing. Yeah. If it doesn't lead to making money, you're just wasting time in some way, shape, or form.
Definitely. And I will add, like, for example, every launch video we've done, they're kind of comedically underproduced. The most recent one we did was like, somebody texted me. He was like, launch video looks too high quality, bear signal. Because that's, if you're spending too much time running a launch. But the truth about that is that we actually recorded the intro on an iPhone in 4K on Sunday. I edited it on Monday, and I posted it Tuesday morning. So I didn't really think about the demo. I just kind of put it together, and that's what we did. And I think a lot of people there was like this whole craze in like the previous YC batch where everybody just spent a bunch of money on these like Cluely style launch videos.
Yeah.
And that was like the first piece of advice I actually got from my YC partner was don't spend money on a launch video.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We just don't spend money on launch videos, and we just like show the product. That's like there's a whole bunch of advice about like demoing and stuff. Like I think one of the other great pieces of advice I got was demo the build, don't build the demo. I think Blake Scholl said that, the Boom Supersonic CEO, and that's always stuck with me. Is demo the build, don't build the demo. So now I just demo the build. The intro, but that's kind of like the approach here, and then get back to actually building after you post it out. Don't think about it very much after it's out there.
I mean, I think it's the right approach, and I do agree. We went through this era where everyone's like, "Oh man, we need to beat Cluely." And as much as I love Roy and I love Cluely and I love that team, as much as their videos got tons of tons of views, it didn't stop them from having to tinker things and pivot and try to figure out how do we convert views to money? And not just them, right? Like you spend tens of thousands of dollars on launch videos because you get into YC, you get a little bit of money, you come out, you raise a little bit more money. It's like in the early stages, every dollar almost matters, especially when you're pre-revenue. I mean, like pre-traction or pre-revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, this video cost me like a $20 CapCut subscription and like 3 hours of my time.
Hey everyone, I'm Ethan.
I know we got to play it, and then I want to jump to the next segment because I love a good underproduced video. Let's see it.
Hi, I'm Bob. Hey everyone.
I think the quality is too nice though because the camera's actually too good.
I'm Ethan. Hi.
Yeah, well, this is the iPhone.
Today we're launching Embedder.
This is a what?
This is an iPhone 14 Pro. Like it's just on the 4K setting.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks great. All right, let's watch.
Yeah, good lighting.
Hi, I'm Bob. And today we're launching Embedder, the world's first hardware-aware coding agent. Building for hardware has always been hard. 1,000-page datasheets, fragmented tools, and outdated workflows. Embedder fixes that. Our latest update features a stunning new terminal UI and our fastest, most capable firmware agent yet.
So is this like the updated UI? Oh, I think we lost you again.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you can like skip through there and check out I think there's a couple examples. So we have like research and planning in the terminal UI. Right here it demos interactive serial monitor. You can actually my engineers say that this is actually pretty state of the art.
I mean, it looks pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it looks good. It's very smooth. It's like on the most like modern framework. Before, everybody used to be building terminal apps on something called Ink, and I think the maintainer of that actually got drafted into a war and has not since pushed changes to it.
Oh shit!
That's what I've heard. But so this is on OpenTUI and Bun. Bun, the company just got acquired by Anthropic. So we're on that stack, and it's just super smooth, super responsive, really easy to build custom UIs, and it's even clickable. I haven't since encountered a terminal UI that lets you click buttons in it, but apparently you can now, and so we have that. You can click all over. You can click confirm. It's like a actual web GUI.
So I could pretty much use this to I could use this to program any piece of hardware, essentially.
Yeah,
if you have the specs for it.
I have an example here. This is an STM32, but basically any hardware, if you have a USB, I think right here, you just plug it in there and you run init in the terminal and you have your project set up, then it will discover your hardware, what port you're connected to, and you can just build any example application you want. You might have to download the example SDK from the vendor. So ST here, you might have to download a library. But if you want, you could build stuff up from scratch, work within existing code bases. And when you write the code, it actually flashes it to the board and connects to it so you can see the serial output from the actual hardware on your screen. And if something's wrong, then it will actually pass that back to the main agent and apply fixes and iterate and reflash in the loop. So we call it our verification loop. So it's supposedly it's hardware
That's
aware
crazy.
because it can read straight from the chip on your board.
That's actually nuts. I wonder, like, and I know this is a very wild ask. Would it be possible, like, if, granted, of course it doesn't have a USB anymore because, I mean, it's old as fuck. But could I, like, program a fucking Game Boy Color? Like,
okay, so this is actually an interesting question. Now, we didn't get to it because it took too long, but we were, or like there's something wrong with the product that was messed up with the context window like a while ago, but we were going to be able to have Embedder program and play Doom on one of these microcontrollers with a screen. A Game Boy, maybe not. Usually, it'd probably have to be like on one of these. And there's like one that we have that has like a screen built into it that you could probably emulate that on.
That's dope.
But maybe that'll be our next demo, is we'll have it build and play a game.
That'd be
like
dope.
Yeah.
That's actually very sick. Well, I have to take you to our rapid fire segment, but first I have to ask you, because thankfully Warp, another AI payroll compliance and HR that runs itself, dope YC company, they're crushing it. I don't know if you use them for payroll, but I'm going to ask, who's your payroll provider?
Oh, you're going to like this. The sponsors are going to like that I have been a customer since June.
Let's go. Let's go.
And they run my payroll. They do a pretty good job. Honestly, I don't know what they do, and that's great because I don't have to do anything. So I think that might be like PMF for them if they have a lot of customers and I'm like my employees get paid and I haven't gotten in trouble for taxes yet. So I think we're on the right track. So it's a great product.
That's like, it's so great that I'm going to like use that and be like, you want the CEO to not know what you do. Because if they don't know what you do, that means things are fucking running smoothly and you're crushing at Warp. So shout out to Warp. I'm taking you into the lightning round portion of this show. You have to answer 5 rapid fire questions in the next 90 seconds. Forgive the timer. I forgot to fix it. But you got 90 seconds. I'm going to spit off to you 5 questions. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Question 1. What is the clearest sign that your startup is about to fail?
Pull the plug. If your service goes down for an entire day and nobody sends you an email complaining, it's probably cooked. That's what I think.
Number 2, what's one skill that every founder underestimates?
Being stupidly aggressive and for things that you want to achieve. You're like, if you want something, send the email. Don't hesitate. Make the post. Do the thing. Hire the guy. If you want to hire somebody, like, just be super aggressive. I think that's what it is. And it took me a while to learn that.
Number 3, what mistake do you believe even smart, successful founders make?
Not listening to the customer. I had this problem at like really early on. We just wanted to build things that we thought were cool. And regardless of how smart you are, like, my CTO is a genius, right? But he doesn't know that the customers only care about UI. And that's a big mistake. If you waste your time working on other stuff that people haven't even asked for, then you're probably going to fail.
That's a great answer. 4th question. What's the fastest way to kill momentum?
Stop doing things. And I think one of the main ways to keep momentum is to focus on product and customers, be customer obsessed. If you start focusing on other stuff like views or clouds, or you're trying to seem like the coolest startup in the room, or raising money, even spend all your time talking to investors, I think that's definitely it. Raising money and being cool should be a byproduct of the great work that you do.
Damn, that's a bar. Raising money and being cool is a byproduct of the great work that you do. Last question. What is the most overrated startup milestone that founders tend to care about?
That's a good one. I would definitely say, making money is good.
Yeah.
I think LOIs probably are useless. Like, if you say you have X amount of LOIs, having $1 million in revenue is great, but like, what really matters is if you're out doing B2B sales, is that person going to make like referrals to you? So I think a more important, like, if you sign $1 million contract, but that guy doesn't like your product. So I think it would be more like, we should focus on customer success, customer happiness as like a milestone. Like, can you get great like referrals from the people you do work with, even if they're not paying you money? is more important thing to focus on than like $1 million, because your $1 million could churn immediately after you raise your A. And then your investors, they get fleeced. So I don't think they should be looking at just the numbers. They should be talking to the users.
Well, I appreciate you. You've made it through the lightning round at warp speed. You answer those questions great, by the way. Like, I got some sound bites that I just cannot wait to take to TikTok and be like, this is why you were fucking up. It's this thing right here. This guy just yelled at you. It's because you don't fucking listen. Now you need to listen. So I appreciate you dropping some gems. But I want to switch gears a little bit, because in your industry, a lot of what, at least I would think, a lot of what really matters in the early stages, like creating the best product with the AI that we have currently. But in your opinion, we know AGI is something that like people want to see in the future, but in terms of firmware agents, what do you think is probably the technical gap that's holding firmware agents back from being more adopted? I know you were saying like there's the cultural side of it that just takes time, but from a technical standpoint, what do you think is holding the world back?
Yeah, it's definitely, well, there's two things that I think are very important. One, like obviously the cultural thing. Are people willing to even like put out an RFP for a firmware AI agent, or even like, get their team onboarded onto it is one thing. That's out of my control. That's just like, how is the market behaving? And I think it's behaving kind of in our favor. But the other one is trust and IP. One of the interesting things about building in the hardware space is that, unlike software, where we have these great open standards, lots of open source code, everything's freely licensed, it's all ubiquitous. In hardware, the reason why you make money is because you have a monopoly and you have IP. And you're not giving your IP to Anthropic, and you're not giving it to ChatGPT, and you're not giving it to Google, because that is the one and only thing that makes you money. And some of these companies have like entire departments just for litigation and claiming money like for damages of people who have like infringed upon their rights. So trust and IP are like, and whoever can solve that first is probably going to make a lot of money. Can I get somebody to trust me to integrate with their business? That's another completely separate problem we could talk about for a long time. Like, integrating AI into legacy businesses is like the whole category of basically what YC is investing in right now.
Is that where like all these forward deployed engineers are coming from? Where it's like, I mean, that role of like, hey, you're going to go and like figure out what this business needs and find a way to like add AI to it.
I think the key insight here is that a lot of people are still stuck in this, or at least investors, they think they're stuck in the SaaS era, where they think that the only way to make a venture scale business is to have unlimited like margin, or like, a 50% margin, zero overhead on like anything other than running the compute and salaries. So running a business where you have to do custom deployments for every single customer is stupid. You're a services business, you'll never make any money. But that's not true anymore, because I have a PhD level brain extension that I can give to any single one of my forward deployed engineers. And then custom work just becomes as much as like maybe I'm doing an integration with a software partner. I send them on site, it's not going to take them 2 quarters to deliver a contract. It might take them 2 weeks, where we change around a couple things with a couple prompts from the agent, and then it's done. And that's custom work. So I think that's definitely like forward deployed AI native service companies will become like the new SaaS in the future. Especially in these spaces where it's like IP constrained and nobody trusts anyone.
Do you think as you guys scale and grow that the skill of being a very, I would say electrifying, because you give me kind of the personality that you're electrifying in the sense that you don't wait for a moment, you're going to go take it. And when lightning strikes, you're going to be there. So when you think about it from a forward deployed angle, right? You need someone trustworthy, someone electrifying, someone that understands the essence of the moment. Is that a role you see yourself hiring for on a consistent basis to kind of get yourselves out there?
Well, yes, like we need forward deployed engineers for that, but like closing the deal is a whole nother thing that like I feel like only something that like the CEO or somebody who's been working at the company for a long time is going to be able to do. Because I can go into the room with somebody that I'm selling a contract to and be like, I'm so excited to build this technology for your business, just because like for the love of the game. Like it'd be so cool if this existed. And like not only that, if that doesn't work for them, like, this is gonna make you so much money. I already know, like there's so many ways that I would like I just don't approach it like a traditional sales process. I'm just like truly excited to be here. It's kind of like the energy that I like to bring.
Yeah.
We're just making cool stuff. And if you partner with me, you have the potential to like build something really cool. You're gonna be the first AI native vendor of this thing, or like you guys are gonna like rip out code as fast as possible. We're gonna have more cars, more drones, more, more factories, more everything. That's exciting. People want that, like that industrial renaissance future. Like I might be talking about anything other than business. Like when was the last time we had something cool come out, like a car or a plane?
Damn. You're right. Like, when you were talking about like these various different factories, my mind immediately went to like, when's the last time someone just said, I'm going to go just like take what DJI did, which was like create a drone, but like make a cooler drone. Like when's the last time we've had really cool consumer hardware that's just like compelling and interesting, because like we have the means to make compelling and interesting consumer hardware that people could use. And what you're doing could create a world where it's like, okay, yeah, if you can dream it up from a hardware perspective, we can bring it to life from a firmware perspective, and you'll be going in whatever direction you want to go in.
Yeah, and this actually makes me the most excited is a little bit in insight into my mind and like what I really want to achieve with this company is like I always kind of go back to like Tony Stark in a cave.
Yeah.
The next guy who builds the cool drone that's cooler than the drone you just mentioned could just be some dude in his basement with like a fully vertically integrated AI hardware suite. And all he needs is the idea and the conception and the willingness to sit down and just put your nose to the grindstone and get it done. And then you can file a patent for it. We don't have to have like $1 billion hardware lab and a bunch of R&D and like hire and outsource people offshore to write all this firmware and these custom schematics and all that. Why not give that power to some dude in his basement? And that's what I really look forward to. Like we're starting with code now, but I'm very inspired by Peter Thiel in a lecture he did on building a vertically integrated monopoly. And this is what I tell everybody now. Joining Embedder, we're building a monopoly. Embedder is going to be a vertically integrated monopoly. And what that means is we pick what we think is the biggest point of pain now, which is software. There's this large consolidation of like, for example, in a car now, there used to be hundreds of different microcontroller units in a car controlling each different functionality. But now we're doing like this great consolidation into like a single, super sophisticated software bottleneck control unit. Right? So we're moving towards more advanced stuff with simpler hardware, but more complex capabilities on a single chip. So software is going to be the bottleneck. But if you can solve software first, you're going to get entrenched into all these companies, all the business units, you're going to have customers, you're going to have trust built. Yeah. And then you can just start creeping to the right and creeping to the left. Like I'm going to get into like, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about it because then I'll scare everybody else who's working on the thing. But I could buy them up and then I could just have like a bunch of good, okay things to become something great. And absolutely like impossible to compete with.
I mean, I love that vision, right? Like selfishly, when I thought about, when I was like, oh, I want to take my career as a former founder and like use that to get in a venture. I was like, well, I'm a creator and I know how to make great content, which gives me a leg up. My thought process was like, yeah, the North Star is one day, okay, you start a venture firm and like one day the goal is my goal, I describe it as I want to catch the guy who pays $10,000 a day to keep people off of his beach in California. And that is, I'm pretty sure it's Vinod Khosla, where it's like, he has a house that he basically, if it's not him, it's another venture capitalist, but he has this crazy house that basically he wanted his beach to be private, but it was a public beach. So he pays the fine that the state of California bills him to just keep people off it. And it's like $10,000 a day. It's like a crazy number. And it's like, of course, he has billions and billions of AUM. But like to that point, my whole thought process was like, okay, we'll creep in and we'll start by just making posts on Instagram. And then you like look up and it's like, oh, we have this audience on Instagram. Okay, we'll just release a little app and start taking away some mind share from AngelList. We'll just launch our own little syndicate platform. And then we'll just launch this and startup founders can put all their information and updates here, and we'll start eating away Crunchbase and PitchBook and all of these platforms. But it's like, to your point, it's like you vertically integrate and then you're like, oh, why don't we just do this little thing that no one cares about or thinks is interesting? And then you look up and it's like, oh shit, we can monopolize a space that was like once seen as like closed off just by starting off making measly little Instagram videos and posting about my chats with cool founders like yourself. But it's like,
and you're solving a problem, and the problem that you're solving is there's a lack of information. There's a lack of good information. You're like one of the few people online where I watch your videos and I'm like, he actually is in the know. Like he's been in the room that you need to be in. There's a room somewhere, and you know somebody has a key to it, and you see him walk into it, you see him turn the latch and go in, and you see him come out, but you don't know what goes on inside the room, right? And I think like having somebody that's willing to like share like real good advice, like I would recommend anybody who's watching, like everything that you say is actually like real objectively good advice that I have been doing. Like these are things that I do, and I just like, yeah, I agree. Like this is great. And I don't think I really see that anywhere else. So I think that what you have is like, you might have a monopoly on good information, and that builds an audience, and users are valuable. And you know what you can do with good information is you can, data is everything. You can build whatever you want after that. That's really the only moat that companies like Crunchbase or PitchBook or anything else has, or all these venture investors. They have these tools that give them a big database of who's the best founders, right? But you're collecting that data and kind of in the open here. So I think that's very interesting.
I want to get to the point like where a conversation like this, you reach out to me and you're like, yeah, we're raising our Series A. Like, do you know any investors we should talk to? Or like, do you want allocation? And you're like, oh, I want to give this guy a couple $1,000s, a couple $100K in allocation because like he was one of the first people to like just make content on me and just chat with me like a normal human being. Less about like, oh man, why do you think you're the next Steve Jobs? And more about like, bro, just talk about like the shit that you have to go through right now, because being an early stage founder is difficult and people don't see it. And it's like, you have to present that everything is okay and like business is running static, like status quo, but there could be a million things happening. A meteor could be hitting Earth and you got to balance being evasive against that meteor while still trying to increase revenue. There's so many things that like people don't see. And I think they look at startup founders as like characters and not human beings. VCs do it as well. I think they see us as like, oh, wow, like this founder I invested in, this is like fucking Patrick. I want him to be my Patrick Mahomes and play in the Super Bowl, or like, you know, become the unicorn company. And they just see it as that. It's like, I'm putting my horse out in the field and I'm just going to watch him fucking run. And it's like, yeah, but to run at such a pace, there's so many fucking complexities they don't see when you're just like cutting a check. So for me, it's just like giving you a space to just chat and talk about shit. Like if this whole conversation had gone left and it was about like your obsessive love for Scottish Highland cows because like you went to the fucking Swiss Alps and like went to a farm and it's your way to like Zen state, I'd have been like, all right, we're talking about fucking cows then. Like, dope. But
I'd be pretty bullish on if a guy came on your show and he didn't talk about his company, he just talked about this weird obsession he had for Highland cows. I might check out his product. So it's, you know, stuff like that. And I think like people, like at the end of the day, there's only so much fundamentals you can cover on like whether or not like a business has like the correct seed to be successful in a particular space at a particular time. If the timing's right and the idea is good, then it's kind of just all like, is this guy going to go do it?
Yeah.
I knew who this was. Maybe it was Khosla. Maybe it was Sam Altman. It was one of the big startup guys. But like, oh, it was Naval. He was talking about like execute the best way to determine if somebody is a first-time founder is if they're stealth or they're trying to keep it secret that they're doing anything and they don't want anybody to steal their idea. And he's like, you know, eventually you're just going to be begging people to try out your product. It doesn't really matter what your idea is. It's like 99% execution risk.
Yeah.
Like how bad do you want to get it done? And how fast can you do it? And how much do you care about like reaching out to people to get the answers you need about what changes you need to make to the product?
That's so true. I feel like people get into this mode of being almost like afraid of talking to people, right? Like if you had to look back at, I mean, I don't know, maybe you've never gone through this because like you've always understood the essence of the moment, but like, what's your best advice for being in spaces and just being able to go and like make the conversation happen in that moment and like fucking wing it?
Yeah, I actually had this conversation this morning with one of my employees about like we launched today. He's like, man, I don't know how you do it. I just can't get over the wall of just like putting it out and sending like I sent a text to 200 people today saying, hey,
Yeah.
retweet my thing. Look at this thing I made, right? And I don't care anymore. I'm like numb to it. But it's
Yeah.
like really hard, like when you first start, like, oh, what if somebody thinks this is dumb? And I think like what really helps me was I kind of just like made up my mind about it when I got this advice. It was like, don't wait. Like YC was like, don't wait to launch. Launch as soon as possible. Launch fast. Launch often. And when you put it out there, like I put out a video, it was a horrible video. Product didn't work. Production was bad. I looked like I was like 15 in the video, and everybody was making fun of me for looking like a child and saying YC was going under. And it got like 1 million views, and I was like, okay. So as long as I seem confident and I just put it out there and I tell everybody, I scream from the rooftop that I'm building, hardware AGI.
Yeah.
Then people will check it out. And that's what you just got to do. You got to be aggressive. I think that was the best advice from one of my YC partners. Like the last office hours we did, or one of the last ones, he's like, you guys just need to be more aggressive. And that's pretty much it. Like at any point, if you think your company isn't working, like zoom out and go, what did I do today? I pushed like 50 lines of code, or I pitched like 5,000 lines of code with Claude. I got a lot of work done. But nobody's using my product. And that's really important. Is it's like, well, why don't you go get 100 people to use the product before you ship another code change? And if all of them come back to you and tell you it's terrible, tell them you give them $100 to spend 5 minutes to tell you why and what they would have paid for instead. And you have to be obsessive about that. Like by any means possible, collect this information because you need it. Your company depends on it. And a lot of people are just hoping that if they put something out there, that people will just tell them what they want and what's wrong with it. You have to really try really hard to figure out what people want. It's not easy to just make something that people want. That's what YC says, make something that people want, because that's the only thing that matters. And it's the hardest problem to solve is what do people actually want? Nobody actually knows. It's like a unsolved problem. It will never be solved, but you can get kind of close doing your own thing.
Damn, man. That like and I put out a lot of content, but this is even inspiring me to be like, oh, like you put out so much stuff, but like
post more,
put out more.
Post more.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Put out more, post more, like be louder, because like you're not gonna find out what should happen or what shouldn't happen with your career and like what you're doing if you don't. But like when I think about everything you've said on this stream and how you go about conducting yourself and building this company, when you think about the term make something people want, and maybe for me it feels like if someone would have said that to you like maybe a year ago, right, and you're thinking like, oh, are we talking to enough customers, are we doing enough of the thing, there might have been some emotional like tie to like, oh, I'm gonna reach out and like being like, okay, what would someone say, or overthinking it. Now it feels like you could do anything in relation to your company and there is no emotional attachment to whether or not someone gives a fuck or doesn't give a fuck. But there is a focused intent on getting some level of feedback on something regardless of the outcome.
Yeah. I mean, I get emails from people telling me all the time, this is terrible because you don't support this like esoteric microcontroller platform. I will never pay you any money ever. Like I'm just going to use Codex. And I'm like, that's great. And I add that microcontroller platform and I give them a coupon. And then, I find 100 more people to ask like what they think of the new microcontroller. And then everybody tells me it's great. So it's like, I used to get like really like depressed about like comments like that when people would be like, oh, this is very viral, but like I would never use this product and like blah, 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 like all that kind of stuff. And I think that's the reason why like people pivot, because they're not like, you're not going all the way in. It's like the sniper thing. You have to go all the way through with it. Keep doing it until I guess like, if you run out of money, maybe raise more money. Unless it's a really terrible idea. Like I think that's also some good YC advice is like, unless your idea is truly garbage, which is like rarely the case, you just have to keep trying like really hard. You just have to keep trying. And eventually you'll probably get somewhere because people are going to steer you in the right direction. It's like the market. It's a forcing function. You'll find out eventually. And that's kind of like what I do. I'm like bumping into walls all the time until I figure out exactly like where the it's like putting a key in a lock, I guess. There's some analogy here, you know what I mean, where we're like approximating a correct solution here. And I think that's really what you need to do. It's just like, how long do you run the loss function for until you get a good result?
Damn. Man, it's been a pleasure to have you on this stream. Like, you dropped so many gems and like legit one of the more insightful streams, but just I feel like I've just been having like a regular combo with you for an hour and it's been fucking incredible. But you have to do one more thing before you sign out. The same way you had to pitch and create your own pitch video to get into YC, I'm putting you under the ringer. You have to go through 3 rounds of YC Partner Simulator. You have to guess whether or not startup founders made it into Y Combinator. All right, let me know if you're ready.
I will tell you. Let me say something. I'm sure you saw it on Twitter, but I am the absolute GOAT at this game.
Are you serious?
Actually, I think you made a post about it with Lance, if you remember. He was sitting in my office and we were just ripping through YC Partner Simulator. I was teaching him I think that's why one of the reasons he got in is because I was like, well, we can just go through it.
He literally said that he said that you guys basically just like fucking you pretty much trained him on it and then like he got in. Yeah, because
it's like there's a couple of things that you can say. Like we can talk about it later if there's not much time left. But there's stuff that you have to say. There's ways you have to deliver it.
I mean, we can go over. Yeah, like if you have any insights for any.
Yeah. So I think it's like, for example, one of the main things is like there's this one question they ask about like, why are you making this? Or like, why is this the right way to do this? And the best answer in my mind is I'm doing this thing because I talked to X number of people and they said that they wanted it. And that's a very simple, highly effective answer to that question. Like why this? Like, why will people use your product? I know they'll use my product because I asked them and they gave me money or they signed a letter. And that's the only real way to like actually communicate that is like, well, you're making something people want. How do we know? This guy goes out and asks people what they want. And I think like if you're not doing that, applying to YC, you're probably just like, I'm sure some people get through without actually doing it. But I think the most successful founders in applying to YC and just doing business in general, it's customer obsession. It's actually talking to people. It's a lot harder than it sounds, but you have to just go do it. I think that's on the application. And on the video, it's stuff like, if they're not in the same room, unless it's during COVID, what are we doing?
I feel like you just dropped that little phrase around like, I spoke to XYZ people. I have this is the conviction I have based on these conversations. It's like, it all comes back to the ethos of like, make something people want. Fuck all that. I feel super compelled to solve this. It's like, no, what is the market fucking telling you? And how can you display that in a way that like the partners will be like, damn, I need to get on the phone with this guy. I need to chat with them in person. I need to have the interview.
Yeah. And it's like, well, since the application, we added a feature. Here's the feature. We added this feature because we talked to 100 more students and this is what we came up with based on those interviews. Great. Like, that sounds good to me. Like, keep doing that. And you keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then we're going to eventually approximate a correct solution is what I think of. I know there's got to be a math term for that. I don't know what it is. Like the wet, like there's like a squeeze algorithm. There's something in calculus where you're like squeezing. I think there's something like that. I don't know what it's called though.
All I know is you're dropping fucking gems, bro. Like legit. Ethan is the fucking YC cheat code right now. And I'm excited to just see him break down these startups. You got to go through 3 rounds. And I think you're going to go perfect. I don't see how you get any of these wrong, but let's lock in. You can stop me at any time. And once you know the answer of whether or not they got in. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Wacom. I'm Anish, CEO of Bench AI.
Hi, I'm Sriram, CTO of Bench AI.
First of all, we called it YComb. That's a little bit weird. I don't actually know, but I'd say it'd be really funny if it was a reject just because of that. So maybe.
Rejected because he didn't say YC or Y Combinator. Bro said YCom. Oh my God. You were right.
All right, next one.
Jesus, you're legit the GOAT.
Hi, Y Combinator. My name's Brandon Rodman. I'm the CEO of Weave.
My name is Clint Berry. I'm the CTO of Weave.
And my name's Jared Rodman. I'm the COO of Weave.
At its core, Weave is a telephone company. What makes us different than all the other telephone companies out there is that we link up our telephone service with a small business's CRM. We also incorporate text messaging and emailing into our system. when somebody calls into a business using our phone system, all of the patient or customer data will pop up automatically on the computer screen and give them multiple opportunities to communicate with those patients, to interact with them. It also identifies what they can do on that phone call to generate more revenue.
So far, we are in the dental community. That's the vertical we chose to start in. We exited beta in June of this year, and we already have 230 paying clients. We're going to eclipse 1 million in overall revenue for the year.
This is an old clip, so I don't know if the same logic applies, but I like the vibe. The roles are very clear. They're all in the same room. They're very clear spoken. I know exactly what they do and how they're generating value, and he just told me about his customers. So I would say they probably at least got an interview. So I'd say accept, but
let's see.
We'll see.
Oh my God, we was accepted. And they went public? Holy shit. Damn, you are correct. That's 2 in a row. Can you end the stream perfect? You legit are the YC Partner Simulator fucking wizard.
Hi, YC.
All right, number 3. Let's see.
I'm Parker, Vanderbilt CS major and former Google engineer.
My name is Joe. I'm a natural-born salesman and most recently had a job in private equity. We are the co-founders of Twos, the best place to write things down. We all know the benefits of writing things down. Not only does it help you think clearly, but it also helps you easily remember things. But there are also inherent complications with writing things down on paper. You have to carry it with you wherever you go, flip through the pages to find the things you wrote down, and you're going to run out of space.
Current digital solutions are hardly better. You have to create a new note for everything you want to remember. They're overly...
Google engineer, this could be tough.
I'm going to say reject. I'll explain why if it's right. Otherwise, I don't know.
All right. 3 for 3. Honestly, I was wondering. I was like, damn, he's a Google engineer. Maybe he gets in, but damn.
Let me tell you why. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why are we on a different z-axis? Why are we throwing books around?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my usually like most of these I'm just like, it's just so like there's only one way to do it. There's only one way to do it. And if we're not even in the same z-axis, like we're not locked in like that. Like why can't my co-founder just sit next to me? Now this is a really like
yeah, bro was all the way over here like this.
I just think like if we can't even set up a video correctly and sit next to our co-founder, maybe that means that I don't know. But there's also like just like the way that the idea itself probably is like in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, like the idea wasn't that attractive, but I agree with you. Like the synergy has to be there, and it's like simple shit. Like you don't got to overthink it as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's what I was talking about with Lance. Is like, I was like, hey man, if you're not in the same z-axis in the same room with your co-founder, like that's a horrible video. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch that. Like, let me know that you're both working on it. Like you're at least close to each other. Maybe you're not gonna fight. Like we like each other. And like the delivery, it needs to be like, you know, no BS. No BS is what I like to think of it as. Like if I look at him like this guy's serious, he's customer obsessed, he's serious. We're not doing any gimmicks. We're selling the product because the product is good, and that's what it should be.
3 for 3. I got to do a day where it's just like all the champions of YC Arena come back and just like compete. And I'll see if I can get someone to sponsor like some sort of like crazy like 10K prize, because like there was you.
I'm taking that home.
I think the 2 most impressive were you and then the founder of StarCloud, Philip Johnston. Dude, he was so obsessed. Like he was like, all right, we need to get through all the other segments early because he wanted to do 10 rounds. He did end up getting 1 wrong. He went 9 for 10. So you're the king right now.
That's great.
And you're the only person that got someone into Y Combinator from breaking down their pitch and using the game. So right now, you're the king of the hill. I don't know if that's changing anytime soon. But what I might have to do is you make one of the logos like if you're the king of YC Arena, your company's logo is always on the stream. Like something like that.
You should start that today. And yeah, I
like
totally
the king
agree.
of the hill. I'm gonna put a crown beside the logo, the Embedder logo, and it'll just be on the stream as like a scroll until someone does something more impressive. The logo will always have a spot on the stream.
I like that. I like free promotion.
I got you, bro.
And then I'll direct everybody to your stream so that I can brag about my logo being there.
You're like, not just the logo. I'm gonna add a crown. You know, the crown has to be there. The king of the arena. Embedder CEO Ethan Gibbs, king of the arena, bro. I appreciate you for joining me. This has legit been so much fucking fun.
All right. Yeah, nice chatting.
Take care, bro. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Dude, he is so fucking awesome. Like, that was a great call, man. I love when I get founders like that. I definitely think, so we can actually do it right now. I'll show you guys. We'll do it. Because you guys haven't got to see, you haven't gotten to see the back end. You have not got to see the back end of vesting. So I'm going to show it off because it's fucking sick. So a lot of people don't know. Vesting is programmatic. It is programmatically, it is literally a programmatic platform. Like everything you see can be programmatically changed in a Google Sheet. This is not an easy thing to replicate. It is not an easy thing to like change. Like it's not, this isn't somebody's restream fucking setup. No, this is like a completely custom bespoke solution that your boy had to spin bread. That way you see how many someone gets right. Right? Yo, what's up, Kat? So like we can change anything. If I want to go right now and change the YC Arena title to like YC King of the Arena. Boom. King of the Arena Embedder. Give it a couple seconds. That should update. On paper, it should. Let me see. Let's see if it wants to work. Will it work? It has not updated yet. Sad times. Sad times for the updating bar. Oh, there, it updated. King of the Arena Embedder. So like when I tell you, we are out here with a programmatic masterpiece. And we're going to definitely put a crown beside our boys over at Embedder because they're super dope. But Teague, let me know when you guys want to get on and we can start running term sheets, the term sheet segment. And I'll be starting the stream 30 minutes earlier. But this was great, man. Every time I get to bring on a dope founder, I always leave the conversation a bit more inspired. Like inspired for my own stuff, my own visions, like everything that I feel like I'm trying to build, inspired to like help people along their startup journeys. Like I get hit up a lot and I can't like make every single call in every single moment, but I try my very best to see if I can just like chat. But we also have news and I'll just go through some stuff. FIA just raised 35 million. I think this is like their series. I think this is their Series A. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just 1 month ago, 1 month removed. They raised 8 million a month ago. That included checks from Kris Jenner, Sarah Blakely. Then they come back and they raise 35 mil. So I guess this would be technically the Series A. Yeah, I think this would technically be the Series A. So congrats to the FIA team. They got to be putting up some numbers. 35 mil is no small amount. I want to know, convince yourself their last 30 years, hundreds of thousands of monthly active users. FIA has achieved 11x revenue growth and onboarded 6,200 retail partners. Jeez. Oh my God, I understand. This is about to be like a multi-billion-dollar company. Holy. FIA is a mobile app and a web browser extension that seeks to help shoppers save money by showing them. I got to get her on the show. I got to get one of them on the show. Both of them on the show. This is nuts. 11x revenue? That's impressive. That's so impressive. I mean, when you look at this, bro, it's just the power of creator-led businesses. Like, just creator businesses absolutely crushing it in the consumer space. And this is why I tell people all the time, I'm like, everyone's trying to do B2B AI. Bro, consumer AI is the ticket. Consumer AI is, in my opinion, the ticket. So congrats to Phoebe, Sophia, and the FIA team. 35 mil. I'm gonna have to make a video on that. I made a video when they raised the 8 mil round, but 35? Yep. FIA closes 35 mil Series A, led by Notable, with participation from Koshla and Kleiner Perkins at 185 mil valuation, accelerating our mission to redefine the future of shopping. We are hiring ASAP. Jeez, man. Congrats. 185 mil valuation. These guys are growing like crazy too. I'm pretty sure this company like literally raised. I remember last year when they raised a. I'm pretty sure these guys raised a. Was it a seed last year? All this is telling me, I'm gonna be honest. Seeing all this just tells me that I need to lock in. Jesus, man. 42 mil for, is this just generative AI? Your creative environment. Go from idea to production faster with generative workflows. That's kind of sick. Every creative AI tool, one unified process. That's so dope. That's super dope. Interesting. The round is led by Alex Bard, Jordan. Man, that's the thing. January, bro, I feel like venture firms are fucking just spraying cash in January. I think, I think the reason why a lot of these companies, Devin, are raising so much is because I think they're playing a different game, right? Like the game the game that like a lot of people, and I mean, even to an extent, like I think about the venture game and I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to play it just because you dilute so much. And like, even for like 100, you raise 35 million at 185 mil valuation, they're probably diluting less than 10%. Actually, no, at 185 mil, they'd be diluting like a decent amount. Maybe like close to 20%. No, not 20%. Like it's a pretty decent amount, right? Like, yeah, like they're diluting like 25% of the business, right? Yeah. That's a lot of dilution. That's a lot of dilution, but my guess is they're trying to play on the fact that if the business keeps growing, they basically become the new way for people to shop, which is like, even with crazy dilution, I think they're betting on the idea that if they grow and scale fast enough, they will be able to basically get around being like so diluted with the fact that like their business is just scaling at like a rapid pace. So it's like, I mean, think about it. Like, would you rather have 60% of a $5 billion company or 50% of a $5 billion, or even, I'm not gonna say that. Would you rather have 10% of a $6 billion company or 75% of a $200 million company, right? Like they probably look at it as like, if we keep scaling faster, quicker, our odds overall of being able to be uncatchable by our competition go up tremendously, right? Because they could get to a point where they get so compelling that a company like Shopify is like, yo, we'll come and buy you for $2 billion or more, right? Like, and it's also a thing of when you look at like transparently, Phoebe Gates is like, that's Bill Gates' daughter. She's not building this for the sake of just like, I need an exit. She doesn't need an exit. Like, I mean, how much do you think Bill Gates is worth? I don't know. But like, I'm sure if we search his net worth, it's not cheap. Right, he's worth $100 billion. Like, she's building this probably for the love of the fucking game. Like, when you think about it. So the idea that dilution matters to her, it doesn't matter. She's not building it for, I mean, yeah, she wants to make money. Don't get me wrong. Everyone wants to make money. But like, when you think of like the internal motivation, it's like her dad's worth $100 billion, brother. This doesn't, you only build an idea like this if you truly care about what you're doing. So I think like founder motivations, I don't know what Sophia's background is, or like if her parents are also like filthy rich. But they're both, I'm sure, doing very well to the point to where it's like, we're building something that we find interesting. Right. And I think it starts there. So yeah, very, 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 very dope to see, man. These startups are scaling so fast. 11x revenue, just crazy. So dope to see. And I'm sure we're going to see more of this. Like companies that are just like, but this only, I mean, it can happen in B2B, but shit like this happens in consumer, man. Like you can take AI and do things in consumer that you cannot do in the same scale at B2B. And I think that like, it is harder to build a generational consumer app, but when you do, you don't just hit, you hit fucking big. So that is my last word for this stream. Shout out to Fia. Congrats to Phoebe and Sophia on the 35 mil funding round. Like astronomical numbers, man. Like their growth rate. So we'll be back tomorrow. Another founder chat. On Friday, we have a VC joining us on the stream, so it should be fun. I'm going to try to see if I can get some term sheet convos going early so we can start getting founders up to pitch their ideas and bringing some of y'all back on the stream. When do you stream? I stream 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, normally 5 to 6. Sometimes we go a little bit over, but normally 5 to 6. Then the restreams are broadcasted to, we normally put them in a myriad of different places. So the Vesting Show is live on, every stream goes live on YouTube. So if you do miss a stream and you want to watch on YouTube, you can watch on YouTube. You can also listen to the show in podcast format. We also do drop the podcast, Spotify and Apple. So if you don't make the show, the podcast is great. We condensed it down to about the best 25 minutes or so. But what I will say about the podcast, and I think it's something people should pay more attention to, is like, if you play the podcast in 2x speed, dude, some of these combos are so fucking insightful. Like the founders we're chatting with are dope. And go leave a review. Go rank the podcast. Give it a 5-star because like, I think it helps. Like, I think it helps in the podcasting world. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful, blessed night. I'm going to go get some food, relax. I don't know. I got to see. Honestly, I wonder, I would love to hit the driving range. I don't know if it's going to be open. Let's see. If the driving range is open, it closes at 7. That sucks. That sucks. I was going to be like, yo, we might have to pull up. Close at 7? Make me want to go play Top Golf or something. Maybe I'll go in the morning. The intro is good. The intro, I'm going to get the changes to the thumbnail first. Bro can wait on the intro. I don't even think he finished. Is the other video even ready yet? He's telling me to send the next one. I'm still waiting. We're still waiting on the other video, right? Or did he already finish it? Oh, shit. Never mind. Bro's moving fast. Fuck. Damn. All right. Y'all are getting a sneak peek. This video probably goes live tomorrow, but you're going to get a sneak peek because you're here. Camille, I'm going to ask you in the chat, was this one good? Did he cook? Hi, Key. 9 minutes. What the fuck? Why is it going to take 9 minutes? Maybe it's because I'm streaming. All the segments are there. Oh, that's why it's 9 minutes. 4 gigs. Yeah, I mean, I just want to see what it's like to have it like that. Yo, what's up, Crispy? How you been, bro? We've been good on this end, bro. Just vibing, grinding, having fun, making a lot of content. Life is good. I can't complain. I hope you've been well. You can play through G Drive. Okay, so he kept all the parts and basically just made it 30 minutes. Nice.
Building AI that simulates. This startup founder is building AI that simulates human anatomy for real world outcomes.
Really what we do right now is we will take all of your biomedical data sources and we'll turn them into one biomedical data source.
This is Georgia Witchell, a former Olympic ice climber, professional painter, and the founder of Mantis Biotech, a YC-backed startup.
See, one thing I would like him to do, and granted, like maybe I could have put linked pictures. We're talking about like former ice climber, like bro, find an image of her like ice climbing or something, right? Like the storytelling there, I think he could get a little bit, the intro can get a little bit robotic. So next time I'm gonna like find like images and stuff I can show him so he can like just fix that. But
Simulating human biology by building digital twins based on anatomy and physiology.
Most data sources on the internet are biomedical data sources and people just haven't been thinking about them that way.
Georgia recently joined us on the Vesting Game Show to talk about her goal.
I got an ad of you on TikTok and was like, what the fuck? What was the ad? Was it like what was the ad through? Like what type of company was it?
Simulating biology to positively impact real world outcomes.
A patient group for a
It was an AI version of me?
biomedical or for like a device trial, and you want to unify all of the data for the patient trial. So it really is just
was it a CS gambling video? Because I did not sign off on that.
Kind of a data unification and analysis platform across all industries focused on biomedical data.
I'm your host Bryson, and this is Vesting.
I hope it was too. I hope it was like, I hope it was somebody who owns like some illegal gambling site in Russia.
Were you always like very interested in biotech and the way the body worked? I mean, of course, you being an athlete, I'm guessing there was always like, okay, injuries and all these things that just come into play when you're like building the perfect
clean stash. I know I trimmed the stash because it got so thick it needed a trim. I need to get like a guard that's a little bit easier so I can cultivate the stash better, but I trimmed it down.
To be able to do what you did at a very high level, but where did your interest for this sort of intersection begin?
I think it comes less from like an interest in biotech and more from like an interest in people. I've always been really, really interested in.
Yeah, bro, I got to cultivate the stash. Okay. I like it. It's good. Good. Consistency is important. You know, if you think about it, like it's also come a long way. The stream has come a long way, man. Oh man, I love it. I love it. This is great. I want to go play golf. I might go to the sim. I probably shouldn't go to the sim, but I want to go to the sim. So we'll see. Alexander, product at Embedder. I'm dropping you a follow, Alexander. I fuck with you, bro. Alrighty, chat. We are gonna call it. I want to go get dinner. I gotta go make some content. I gotta post some content. You want to know where I spent most of my day? I was building a dresser because I needed somewhere to put my clothes. I was building a dresser and that took like 4 hours. So 10 of 10 would not recommend you build a dresser. So many funding rounds today. My goodness. We got to expand the team, bro. There's so many funding rounds. I legit cannot keep up. You cultivating your stash now too? Enjoyed dinner. Glad to see you're doing good. It's been a minute. Yeah. Appreciate you, bro. I hope you're doing well also. Like it's been a fun pivot, man. Like I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I picked as much as like I love CS. And I never thought I'd get to a point where I just stopped playing it, bro. I just have not played it. Like I did pick up a video game though. I've been playing like PGA golf. And that's been fun. Let me know what you think of this on Discord. That's actually, I like that idea. I 100% like that idea. And I think that's a good idea. And I can I can promote that and put it right directly on the stream. It's like, you know, You get on the stream. Like we could set it up as a package too. So that's a good idea. I love it. Yeah, I think we start at 500 and then like we can expand it from there. My boy Greg. All right. All right, chat. I love y'all. Your boy is out of here. Y'all have a great evening. Appreciate you hanging out. Another great stream in the books. And I will see you. Wait, did my mouse die? It probably did. I've had this mouse on for like, I'm pretty sure my mouse died. Let me see. I actually can't end the stream yet because it's on my second PC, and if my mouse died, that means I gotta figure out how to, I gotta find the little adapter. Alrighty, now that I found my adapter, my final mouse was dead. No sleeper seized, that's a mattress. I love you guys. Have a good night. As always, become the impossible. Take care. Mouse? You picked the mouse? Here we go. Yeah, it was dead.